Yeah, we are out here. We are back with another fantastic episode of Random Ass Conversations with Twilla _/ Dion. Like, unfortunately, her guest did not arrive today, so I had to fill in as usual because she's bad with producing and booking, casting clients and talent. So I'm here to fill in. How y'all doing today before we get started?
I am tired of the slander, Dion.
Is that right?
That's why I have an announcement.
Okay, what's the announcement?
I'm starting a new podcast.
You're starting a new podcast. Keep talking.
Yes, it's in development right now. It's complicated. We're working on the name because there's a lot of other podcasts. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes. So I'll actually have guests and kicking Dion out.
Hey, change the name.
No,
you can have
this is a whole new platform.
You can have this one.
No.
Why not?
I'm working on something else.
Okay, she's working on something else.
Thing.
Hold her accountable. Hold her accountable. Hold her accountable, y'all. She says she has another podcast, and let's see how consistent she's going to be. All right.
It's lovely, guys. I can't wait.
It's okay. All right.
That's messed up. How's that messed up? Dion be like, we can still do this podcast. I'll still join him every now and again.
It's called. This was your idea, you know.
We're not going through this again.
This is your idea.
Hi, people. Welcome. So glad to see you again.
Hey, before we get started, I definitely want to talk about the movie that we had the opportunity to watch exclusively, titled "Hung for Jesus."
Hung for Jesus.
I didn't know how to feel about it.
Really?
I know these types of things happen in the world, but I'm very sensitive when it comes to religion, spirituality. It was kind of like toting the line of like blasphemous, but it wasn't nothing Jesus. It was just people.
Right.
I get it. But it made me uncomfortable because I know how people will take stuff like that and this is why I don't go to church. Okay.
So, two things.
Go for it.
The first thought.
Go for it.
Is you care all the time way too much what people think.
What people think. You're right.
Period.
And I'm going to tag onto that. All right? Keep going. Go on.
But secondly, like you said, like this was, you could tell, like if you know church history or stuff like that, this was kind of like shadowing, kind of like using that whole Eddie Long situation that happened. Mm-hmm. And then it touched on like so many
Pun
things.
Intended.
So
that wasn't
necessary.
That was very tasteless. Very tasteless.
But so yeah, so like these things happen. Like I'm usually very sensitive as well when it comes to church stuff, but it's usually like if I feel like people are like making fun of your actual spiritual faith, like I would never attack somebody's, faith itself. Like so. I'm Christian. I would never attack a person for practicing Islam or, Judaism or any other religion because that's their faith. And, like, I respect the sanctity and the sacredity of that.
Right.
Like you said, it was talking about people and how people mess it up. And if we weren't so messy, if there weren't situations that people gave other people, people inspiration to write about, we wouldn't be here. So it was like, right. How people, you have the thing like, you made us look bad. No, we made ourselves look bad, or this particular person made us look bad, and they're exploiting that.
Right.
So
but crimes can be associated with family and stuff. Like a lot of people are not giving R. Kelly's daughter an opportunity because he's associated with her father. So if when bad apples do happen in the church, it typically associated like, you a Christian like Eddie Long? So they associate you with like that. I know you shouldn't have to, but now you got to constantly keep defending people.
But that's also like your walk. Let your walk reflect different. Like, like if people know you and know your character, so you're showing a different portion of that. Like, oh, I felt I could, like people are surprised when they hear I go to, they're like, I'm not a heathen.
Wow.
Not a heathen, not surprised, but like, oh, you go to church regularly. Like, that's just like, because I'm not the image of what they thought church regularly looks like. Like a lot of people just be like, I don't cuss around Twilla or this or that, but I'm not like the, oh, holy mother touching oil and whatever that image of church is. I think you should let your light so shine.
I was gonna say that was offensive. That was offensive for somebody to say, "Wow,
it's not like
you
that."
You a Christian?
No, nobody said you a Christian. But when I was talking and I was like, yeah, I tend to go like pre-pandemic. I would say stuff like, yeah, I go to church pretty regularly, like every Sunday, and they're like, really? Like that was like
still an insult.
It's not an insult because a lot of people's lifestyle doesn't reflect that, and a lot of millennials don't go to church regularly. It's like, why are you? Like you seem. Not even you seem like you are more balanced, but it's more like that's not a part of my life that I expect or I have done. So I'm surprised when people do it. A lot of people don't go to church regularly.
100%. But it's like asking somebody who's pushing like 450. You're like, yeah, I run 4 miles a day. And they're like, really? It's like, there's no way.
I mean, I would be insulted if it was like, wow, I didn't even know. You thought of church, or you knew Jesus, or it's still that respect, because like a lot of people like use colorful language around me and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, Twills, and I'll be like, I never said anything.
Man, shut up, hippie. I'm sorry for ignoring you, Twilla. Dion is a deacon, still in the offering. Man, shut up, hippie.
Wearing his suits on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna fight Dion. We're gonna fight Dion by the flagpole. Hippie's a monster.
Oh, what's up, hippie? But I really thought I thought the casting was well done. They touched on some issues. They could have actually gone deeper, but I know it's supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. I know, like, it's definitely one of those films I think people are going to be mad at. Mm-hmm. And I get it, but...
You think it's needed?
I think, yeah, we should have discussions. And, like, culturally, we as a people we have this tendency of saying, like, let's not air out our dirty laundry, you know? And I think a lot of stuff gets buried in us not airing out our dirty laundry. And we're in a time period where people can post anything on Instagram, like your laundry is out there, clean or not. And 100%. So it gives us an opportunity, or it's forcing us to have to like talk through some things, or like some things that happen. And this is something that the Catholic Church is having to go through. And I think like any other church or any other institution, like schools, gymnastics, like sports, anything that involves children, like you have to like talk these things through, not even like children, but like in church or faith or being hypocritical, whatever it is, you have to like be able to talk these things through, because pastors aren't perfect. They're not Jesus.
Right. Oh, we had a good discussion about that. Do you feel like preachers are on the path of perfection? Like they like, because when you preaching, you're typically saying this is what you're supposed to do, and I've done this. I don't do this no more. So when you're preaching pretty much I can't say perfection, but the right way, right? So when things happen to pastors, typically they're like, "Yo, but you were supposed to do blah blah blah."
I think like we like to put people on pedestals, and like how people present themselves. Like if they're like preaching and pointing fingers every week without the thought of grace, or like there's no grace. Like usually it's just like what they say, brim and stone, hellfire and something. Basically like condemning people all the time. And yeah, if you're like preaching, I feel like if you're preaching that all the time and then you fail, like you set yourself up for failure. You know what? Right. But I think in the Christian faith, I feel like you should be preaching like love, as Jesus did, caring for, like loving yourself, loving your neighbors, caring for like the widows and the orphans. Like that's literally like the cornerstone of our faith. And then you should like, Jesus was Christ-like. So there's things that, like as you're experiencing or you're seeking after that, yes, you want to be perfect, but clearly we weren't able to be perfect. That's why we needed Jesus. So like, so it's like you're not going to be perfect. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Like, period.
Come on,
like,
Twills.
you're making me go there.
Hey, let's do it.
So therefore, I feel like when a pastor gets up and it's like, hey, according to our faith, this is not of those things. These are one of those things that we're not supposed to do, or we should strive. We're missing the mark there. And but let's try to be better, and let's try to grow in. And at the same time, let's not judge each other, because we all got thorns in our side. Like, we're all failing at this thing, but we're better when we're like together and praying for one another and lifting each other up. And then like, instead of like pointing each thing out, like, that's a sin, that's a sin, that's a sin, you're going to hell. Like, that gives people anxiety.
Right.
Like, I ain't got time. And it's like, this Christian thing is hard. I might as well give up.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I agree.
Period then. Okay, well.
They in here talking.
Well, yeah, no, I'm like, what y'all talking about? I got to bring the computer up close. I can't see.
Yeah, go for it.
I was going to go on this thing. Yeah, hippie, get that plank out your eye. I'm going all the way up.
Come on, hippie, with the word. With the word.
That preacher calling the congregation broke was one. Oh, he was on one. Ooh. That pastor who was like complaining about them not giving enough tithes and him not being able to drive a fancy car.
I'm not going to say I get it.
But you're going to say you get it?
No. Let's hear me out. First of all, we just heard a sound bite, right? And B, what if it was like, hey, I know what y'all make, man. And the collection plate was literally $3. Yeah, I'm not worth I'm here week by week, and y'all don't give me $100.
But that's the problem. And that's part of what we saw in Hunt for Jesus. It's not about you, Pastor. Like, if you trust,
who's paying the bills?
If you trust, like the same thing, you'd be like, the same time when pastors be like, hey, you need the tithe so we can pay the rent, and you just trust God when you tithe. It's a personal relationship. I'm not all in your finances. That same faith that you asking people to have the tithe is the same faith that you need to be having when your bills need to be paid.
But what if it's like, hey y'all, who's paying these? It's a pastor in the pulpit saying, listen, this is a nonprofit. We have bills to pay. But at the same time, tithes and offerings is very important. And it's like, all right, this is the 4th week. You guys only pay me $6.
You got to get another job, because obviously
I got to pay for this.
You might need another job. Maybe this ain't your calling.
This is a church. This is a church.
But you don't go out and rant. Like, people give what they have.
Right.
And a lot of times in our communities, there is church hurt. There's full-on churches where, like, I believe Creflo Dollar really lately just said, like, hey, my approach to asking people to tithe was wrong. Like, I should have had more grace in these things. Like, yes, tithing and offerings is necessary to keep the body going and to be able to do things for the community. But that wasn't his point. He was talking about his material things that he didn't have.
Right.
And so from there, Pastor, go get a job, write a book, do something else.
Right. That is 100%. Yeah. I didn't know he was talking about his car and stuff. I thought he was talking about like, hey man, we got bills to pay. Y'all ain't paying me nothing. I thought it was that. I thought it was like,
He was on his own personal, and it's kind of like, who are you doing it for? Like, who are the people doing it for? Like, you show your full attitude. Like, people really genuinely give because there's a community that they love and they want to uphold, and they feel like they're doing something right. But when you start saying like, well, I can't get this, and I don't have these things, and I don't have these things, then first, pastors put his faith in people and not in, like Matthew says, don't worry about, not even the birds and the flowers worry about where their food and their clothing comes from. Right. He's not even practicing that part of his faith.
Right.
And then it's like he's making it about him, and that's the problem. There's a lot of egos.
Yes.
There's a lot of egos in the faith and that's preaching on Sunday. And yes, some people are gifted and are able to do that and do the hoop and hollering and get the money. But then like, part of Hunt for Jesus that you saw was like, there was personalities, and they might say for the stage, it's about God, but in their head,
100%.
It's all about them.
Right. 100%. But just imagine a pastor that grew up with a mega
He
pastor.
wanted a watch.
He wanted a watch. It's $300.
What type of watch you?
$300. That watch was $300. I heard it on the Breakfast Club. They said $300. And it's like, yo, it's my birthday. You know what I got for my birthday, y'all? Y'all gave me $47. All right. I had a whole revival, a whole week working up to my birthday, and the total for the week was $47. I'm just saying that I'm here every single week after week, and all I get
Pastor,
is this.
Maybe you shouldn't have gave up your full-time job.
I trusted God.
Maybe it wasn't time. Did he tell you? Did you move before you were supposed to move? There's also this thing, and it also is in Honk for Jesus. Go watch this. I used to work in church, y'all, so I can talk all day. But there's also this element in church where, especially in Black church, historically, being in a world where Black men haven't been able to achieve certain levels of success in the world, especially back in the day. Like I'm talking like the older churches, the older denominations. You would kind of let stuff happen. Like you would let a man who could barely read in and call him pastor, and he lead in a congregation because it's just kind of, and Black women support this because it's like, what other world is he going to step into where he's able to achieve this level of honor and respect you can't hear in the church? So you have a lot of people in churches, especially old school Black churches, where like these people, like they get so much respect that they're demanding on respect, and women can't preach, and women got to dress a certain way, but we honor these men who, you know, like might have a good word. I'm not saying all of them don't, but some of them don't. Like some of them don't know. Some of them haven't broken it down for themselves, or some of them aren't deserving of those titles, but we give it to them, and that they've been able to like thrive in these worlds, and then like it's a whole social sphere. Like it's I
don't think it's a word.
Social sphere?
Is that a word?
Yes. it's a whole reality that's separate. Like there's church politics, especially in these larger denominations. It's church politics. It's basically when you're voting on who's the bishop of all things. There's like political votes and gains and trying to get your friends on your side. It's like Scandal, but for church. And it's because this is a world where people are able, like they don't understand that there's worlds outside of this. Like this is all that they know. Like, and they thrive in this world. And I'm not generalizing everybody, but there is like a culture that supports that. And then a lot of times women, to their own detriment, like are supporting and uplifting, and then is like told like, well, no, you can't preach, no, you can't do this, no. But they're the ones like tithing and supporting and doing all the work in the background. It's such a deeper issue that you have to deal with, and those type of things is what allows like the Eddie Longs and the Creflo Dollars and all this prosperity and gospel to go forth and manipulation to go forth, and then that's what makes us look 100%. Bad. So it's deeply rooted.
Yeah, she. This is her therapy right here.
We have to evolve. Amen. Amen.
Is it amen or amen?
Oh man. Yeah, 300 ain't nothing for a watch. He could have went and bought that himself.
No, he could not. Obviously,
he wanted somebody to buy it for him.
Help me. So here's the thing. This is going to be my goddamn. I got too excited for this. This is gonna be my soundbite because I hate how people look at inspirational, motivational speakers and they be like, hey, yes, come to my conference, $1,000 to walk in the door.
Yeah.
To walk in the door, $1,000. But a pastor's like, hey, by any chance you guys got money, tithes and offering. Here's the perks if you do tithes. Offering is to support our business and support the church. People are like, nah, this is why I don't like to go to church, man, because they all they do is about money. They take my money.
But let's talk about that. Are those people who, yes, on the surface, I agree, let me say that. But on the other end, are those people who are complaining about churches taking money, the type that's going to pay $1,000 for a conference in the first place. They're going on YouTube to get that inspiration. They're not paying extra to dive deeper into. I mean, there's some people that absolutely would, but then it's also like you really have to look at church hurt, because for so many in so many circles, church has like evolved and gone away from like its root. It's about personality. It's about how big of the sanctuary can we have, and how many, whatever flashy things that people are wearing. It's come about the church hats. So if the church feels materialistic, then that might leave a bad taste in people's mouth, especially like in the 90s and the early 2000s. Yeah. These huge churches were like popping off, and it was like you have this beautiful sanctuary that you can only use on Sunday, and you do nothing else with for the community. Like, what is that? And like people are like, hey, that just don't feel right. Right. Like, what else do you need my money for? Now you have all these bills that you have to pay for this sanctuary because it costs so much to turn the freaking lights on. Yeah. And you begging me for money so that you can profit. And it's like, maybe that's not the best use of what we need to do. Right. We need this place to be up and running every single day to make us money. We need concerts every single day. See, I can flip this money. Yeah, mega churches is. I mean, y'all going in right here. Y'all saying a lot. Start with Joel, but seek guidance to know when to evolve. Who said that? Okay, big sis. Mega churches, they need multi-million-dollar residences and nice cars. They need multi-dollar residences and nice cars and private jets to spread the word, obviously. But what if... all sarcasm, I heard that. So. How would you feel if your pastor is very successful, as in it's like the congregation has grown. I was gonna say it's growing. Oh, okay. But as it came out, anyway. The congregation has grown triple, 10 times fold in the past 2 years. So it has to get big, right? But he's like, I have to stay humble. So I'm going to keep wearing ordinary clothes. Yes, the money's coming in. I'm going to keep this 82 Buick Sable. You know who does that? I know. Who? What's that? No. Who does it? Rick Warren. Oh, yeah, he does say that. Yeah. But, I mean, if he does that, does that make people feel like, I mean, some people, like, all things he struggles with us. All things aren't for everybody, right? But it makes you be like, well, here's a pastor who's not necessarily materialistic. He gives away, like, 80% of his income. But this is also a man who's written several books and, like... Eating off of that. Yeah. So that's the other thing. Like, I do realize, like, there are pastors who are, able to use their platforms to write books, to do movies, to go and do speeches and get a lot of their income that way. But I do think if you are at the mega church, like... you have all the conferences and you're healing and, dealing out hope, sealing hope to the world, and you're actually doing the work, making money isn't anything to be frowned upon. Like, that's not a sin. It's the love of money. The love of money, which is, like, the problem. And then when people are only seeking that out for personal gain and exploiting God's people and exploiting poor people to get another dollar, that's a problem. Yeah. And people, I lost my train of thought because I was listening. And I also read Zup saying that's not the pastor's money, Dion. I was going to answer that, but I'm like, let me finish my thought. Well, that. Jesus was flipping tables because people was exploiting the sanctuary. Oh yeah, people. Yeah. People, when you become a certain status, people tend to give you things as well. Yeah. They're like, hey man, your word the other day
was fire, it's fantastic. I want to donate the car to you because you said you still drive this, blah, blah, blah. Let me give you this car.
Yeah.
Hey, man, love your word. Could you wear my jewelry? Could you wear my outfit on?
Well, what about the pastor
free?
that got all his jewelry in church?
Why do you have to look so flashy
Why were
at
you
a sermon?
flossing that much? Yes.
What does that mean?
Like, I always say, like, when I see, like, rappers and stuff wearing big chains, a lot of times I'm like, man, I hope they're careful because they're wearing somebody's college education on their neck.
Yes.
And so to be a pastor who's out there amongst the people, being that flashy, you kind of asked for it.
Yeah.
You kind of asked for it.
Yeah.
When you stay Gucci down to the socks and you preaching to people who ain't got it, you kind of asking for it.
When you are talking to people that's less fortunate, you gotta remain humble because they watch you like, I want that. I want that pinky ring you got. I need to pay rent for the next 6 months.
You over here asking for rent? You asking for tithe? And you blinging?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, we need to take a book out of old rich white men. Old rich white men, you never know they got money. They got them New Balances on, them busted old jeans and polo shirts. You be like, this dude got money. He has no care in the world right now. He's just living life. He's not like, hey, look at me. He's like, don't look at me because it's causing too much attention.
Or they just wear like the same like uniform, like it's easier not to have to think about this. I can just go in and do what I gotta do. Yep. Speaking of rich white people, you know the actor Armie Hammer?
Yes.
There's a documentary out about him.
Jesus, they got him.
They got him. I haven't watched. My siblings were watching it, so I only heard it in part. But his family is like the famous Armie Hammer family, right? And they're like his great grandfather was a gas tycoon, and he had all this money, and basically it's exploiting Armie for like how he like mistreats women and his weird deep fetishisms and sexual exploits that's like borderline, no, it's straight up dangerous, and like cannibalism, and then so you do a deeper dive and you're like, oh, his family was effed up, like, oh, that died. His family was doing a lot of stuff, like, and that his grandfather's money was able to like hide, like he had his dad actually, I think it's his dad actually, like, or was it grandfather? Basically, killed somebody and got off with it. Like, killed somebody because he owed him $500, but was able to like pay him off a lawyer and drop the charges. Well, I'm just saying, like, this is like general news out there. So the family, like, this is rich people, like, and again, because they didn't deal with it in the beginning, just like we're talking about church stuff, like stuff that hasn't been dealt with in the beginning, just evolved, and like now it's like out there, like, oh my gosh, this guy is crazy, but it's like you come from a dark family, right? So it's just passing through generations.
Right. This ain't new.
Yeah,
man. It is.
All right, big sis Chris, my commitment to the tithe is about my commitment to God, not the pastor.
Come on.
Hallelujah. Preach
Anna
that.
La Bosha.
Going up, Zucker said, use your own money if you want to have the high life. Amen. If you're using the money from the congregation to fund your lifestyle, makes you wonder why you're donating in the first place.
So, you got this one?
So I was going to say, first of all, nonprofits, only a certain percentage of, in a nonprofit, only a certain percentage of what, of money that comes in, a small percentage should go to operating costs. And under operating costs are people's salaries. So that's including pastor salaries. So I think I forget, it's been a minute since I've been in nonprofit, but I think it's like, you want your operating expenses to be like under 20% or something like that. So now if your church is raking in, I don't know, $200 million, and then so that means your operating expense is $20 million. Then your pastor salary might be, well, I mean, I'm sure there's a whole, you got a whole staff and other
Right.
people that you gotta, and bills you gotta pay. But that pastor's salary is gonna be different from if you're operating, if you're bringing in like $100,000 a year, and then your operating is $10,000, and then your congregation is, your pastor clearly isn't living full time off that. He's gonna have to, even if he's the only staff member, $10,000 isn't paying for him and his family. He's gonna have to have another job.
Right.
So like I get that there's levels to like what's acceptable or whatever, but you just want to make sure like you're doing that, your books are transparent and you're doing right by the people.
Also it sucks with churches is the pastor is the one that gets shot the most. Like it could be somebody that's like doing fraud in the accounting department. It could be some sort of
that happens.
It could be some sort of pedophilia in the human resources. It's just like and then like they'd be like, Jonathan Powell's church was found. It's like, yo, why is my name on this? And it's like, this is why I'm going to church. Because of one crooked, wicked, nefarious person over here in accounts receivables was doing something crazy. Now the whole church is taken down, and you specifically, the face of this church is going down.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. It's also
business.
leadership and having,
Yeah.
You're in the people business. You got to do it right. Old money lets you live in a different world. Facts. Like, I'm actually going to watch it because I was just kind of more intrigued about, like, the guests that they had in their families. Like, they had, like, when you have a certain amount of money, then, like, royalty comes and visits you at your house. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Armie Hammer isn't crazy. He's just bringing light to the day
Of their nefarious, crazy life.
Uber wealthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I make big money.
We got 6 minutes.
I make big money. So
I'm
this is
loving these comments. Y'all are going in. Going in. Matter of fact, if you ever want to join these comments, just make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and then you can join in this wonderful conversation our people are having.
yes.
Because I'm not reading all these comments.
Yeah.
They're going in right now.
They're going in, yo. Yeah, man. It is. They always say politics, religion, and marriage is the three things that people try to avoid talking.
Politics, religion. I thought it was money.
What?
You
talk
said
about
marriage.
Money? Yeah, you don't talk about your sex life, or your marriage, or your relationships, right?
I don't know. Nowadays people talk about everything.
Yeah.
That polite society has gone away.
Yeah. So random, my boy Derek, all Swede, texted me late last night and
What's up,
said,
Derek?
yeah, he said to me, and I want to say it with a quote because it warmed my heart. He said to me, bro, it just hit me that you took me to church. You took me to church. That's such a respectful and caring thing. You're an awesome person, man. Let's hang out soon.
Oh, look at you out here doing God's work.
And he said to me, literally the only time I've been to church in my adult life. And he said, I was like, was it a Bible study or was it a Sunday service? Like service, man, big time. Such an amazing experience in several ways. I should come to the podcast and talk about it. So he to this day he's never been to church.
Wow.
And he said,
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, I did that.
Yo, my mouth hurts.
Let's not talk about your personal life with you and your boyfriend. Let's keep talking about.
How'd you just go? I had a not root canal. What's it called? Wisdom teeth extracted. My wisdom teeth were extracted.
Okay.
3 of them.
Wow.
And so on this side, it's still a little swollen, but it happened Thursday. I've been going nonstop. You know what I mean?
How much weight you lose?
I should have gotten on the scale and tried.
Yeah, because I know you're not eating that bad stuff. You're definitely protecting your mouth.
But no, on the list though of foods that you can eat was milkshake. I said I never had a doctor say just eat a milkshake.
Let's go eat that milkshake.
Let me get that milkshake real quick.
Don't get that. You know what I am going to do today?
But
And I'm going to say F your mouth.
I'm gonna do it too.
I'm gonna get that
Wingstop sandwich.
Wingstop sandwich and throw it down your boy's mouth. Pause. I'm gonna get that lemon pepper. Now it got 12 different options, yo. They got 12 different options. I'm a kid in the candy store.
Let me say I'm proud of you though, because you did not go right away.
I didn't go. I wanted.
All you had to do was go across the bridge.
I wanted the smoke to clear. Hey yo, I got so excited because there's a bridge next to my loft, and it goes right to Wingstop. I'm talking a mile away, and before then I had to walk a total maybe. It's like so. So my loft is here. There's a bridge goes straight there. But now, before I had to go like either this way or this way, and now I'm like, oh, I can go right to Wingstop. Surprisingly, I never did it.
This man said the bridge is open. That means we could go to Wingstop now.
Like it was a prison. Like we was in prison, and that was my first meal. Oh man, Wingstop was the spot, yo. Wingstop was the spot.
Now his Simply Lemonade bottle is in the kitchenette. Yeah, it's still here.
No, so I see it. I have my eyes on it. I can get it right now. But the problem is it's frozen. I have ice to the top. Now like I can't even drink anything out of it. I would.
Well, funny. I feel like we need to wrap it up for our friends here. Thank you so much for joining us on another Random Ass Convo with Twilla and Dion. I didn't do the dots and ellipses. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification button because I'm telling y'all, we be having fun in this comment section. We're actually going to keep talking. Yeah. We're just going to let this die out.
That's about to die out. That battery, the memory card about to die out.
Yeah, so y'all are just on the short end. Yeah. But we'll be back.
Oh, before we go, let's talk about the sponsor.
Well, first of all, can we acknowledge our new studio?
Yo, we are in our new studio. First time shooting here at the Random Ass Conversation LTE Studios. We are here downtown LA. If you want to partake or be a part of the community of our podcast, please hit us in DMs or email or text us or join us, please.
Yeah, this is just one of our new sets. We have another set that's lovely, and of course we have our photo sets that still exist. So we're really excited with how it's going. We're going to do an official launch. We're going to show y'all pictures. But
next week we're going to be at another one. Next week we're going to be at another set. Just to kind of flex on y'all. Just something like, you know, we don't want to go too hard on, so early. So, yeah, man, that's still rolling. I thought it was going to stop rolling.
We got 19, 18.
Okay, all right.
It's going to stop.
It's going to stop soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, love your body of work. Oh, I thought you were going to say body. I was like, well, brother,